Good morning. Today we are going to continue with this topic of complex numbers and discuss the polar representation of complex numbers. So before doing this, let us first consider what is called as Argand plane and Argand diagram. Now, just as for real numbers we have the xy plane or the Cartesian plane, for complex numbers we have the Argand plane. So the Argand plane helps us to graphically represent the complex numbers. Now, and the plane along with the complex number is called as the Argand diagram. So now let's see here what is a Argand plane. Now, just as for real numbers we have the xy plane where the horizontal axis is the x-axis and the vertical axis is the y-axis. Same way in the Argand plane also we have two mutually perpendicular directions, the x direction and the y direction. The x direction here is called as the real axis and the y direction is called as the imaginary axis. So basically, given any complex number z equal to a plus ib, we can write it in form of a ordered pair of the real part and the imaginary part. And by ordered pair we mean a pair which is, pair means two, ordered means written in a particular order. So we write the real part first and the imaginary part later, and this is a standard notation which we follow. Or we can also write it as, if z is written as x plus iy, then the ordered pair corresponding to it would be x comma y. And just like the Cartesian coordinates x comma y, we plot the x coordinate, that is the first part, along the x-axis and the y coordinate, which is the second part, along the y-axis. So here we will have it as x comma y is the complex number which is represented on this Argand diagram. Okay, so for example, if you have the complex number as z equal to 2 plus 3i, so the ordered pair corresponding to it would be 2 comma 3. It will lie in the first quadrant. If z equal to minus 2 comma 3i, the ordered pair corresponding to it would be minus 2 comma 3, which lies in the second quadrant, and the figure would be somewhat like okay, let me first write all four and then I'll show the four figures. And if z equal to minus 2 minus 3i, then the coordinates the ordered pair corresponding to it would be minus 2 comma minus 3, which lies in the third quadrant. And if z is equal to 2 minus 3i, the ordered pair corresponding to it would be 2 comma minus 3, and it will lie in the fourth quadrant. And thus we have, you have the point 2 comma 3 as this, the depiction of the point minus 2 comma 3 is this, the depiction of the point minus 2 comma minus 3 is something like this, and the depiction of the point 2 comma minus 3 is something like this. So where these are the horizontal ones are the real axis, the vertical ones are the imaginary axis. This is 0, and here we have x, this is y, this is x, y, x, y, x and y. So this is the corresponding to the complex number 2 plus 3i. This is the Argand diagram corresponding to the complex number minus 2 plus 3i, this one is for minus 2 minus 3i, and this one is for 2 minus 3i. Now, the distance from the origin to any point is called as the modulus of that point. And here, so modulus of a complex number, suppose we are denoting it by p. So OP is called as the modulus of the complex number z. Okay, and clearly this part is, now if I have, this is OP, so clearly this part is x and this part is y, and the angle which this OP makes with the positive direction of x axis is called as theta, and it is called as the argument or amplitude. So theta is called as, so here this is theta, here this is theta, and then we'll discuss about these two. They are measured like this. Now here, so theta is called as the amplitude or argument of the complex number z. Now if we have, so given any complex number, we can first write it as a ordered pair x comma y, then we can denote it on the Argand plane, and we get the corresponding Argand diagram. The distance of that point which corresponds to that complex number from the origin is called as the modulus of the complex number, and clearly from this picture we have OP will be equal to square root of x square plus y square using the Pythagoras theorem. This is x and this is y, this is theta, and so you have you will get x square plus y square equal to OP square, or OP is equal to square root of x squared plus y square. Now theta is called as the amplitude or argument of a complex number. Now OP is also denoted by small r. Okay, so here you can see that a complex number can be represented in terms of Cartesian coordinates. This x and y are called as Cartesian coordinates, so it can be represented in terms of Cartesian coordinates, or it can be represented in terms of the coordinates r and theta. The pair r comma theta is called as the polar coordinates. So a complex number can be represented graphically in terms of Cartesian coordinates x comma y, or in terms of polar coordinates r comma theta. So when you are representing them in terms of x and y, the representation is called as Cartesian representation, and when you represent in terms of r and theta, the representation is called as the polar representation. Now let us consider the relation between polar and Cartesian form. Okay, so now let's do the polar representation of a complex number. Now for this, obviously polar representation means representation in terms of r and theta. So consider any complex number z equal to x plus iy. So it implies that its Cartesian coordinates are x comma y. Now we have to represent it in terms of polar coordinates. So for that, what we do is, so let's represent it in the xy plane. So this is x, this is y. Actually, on the Argand diagram, if you are writing it, so this becomes P, this is OP, and this is x comma y. So clearly this distance is x and this distance is y. Let's call it n. Okay, let it make an angle theta with the positive direction. Okay, and let OP be equal to theta. Then OP is called the modulus of z. It is written as mod z. Okay, mod z, which is also represented as r. Okay, and it is a distance from the origin to the point P. Now from this figure we can get r square equal to x square plus y square, which gives us r is equal to square root of x square plus y square. We get modulus of z equal to square root of x squared plus y squared is also equal to r. This is one thing. Okay, now the other thing is theta, which is the angle which it makes with the positive x direction, is called amplitude or argument. Now here theta is always measured from positive x direction and is taken to be positive in the anti-clockwise direction. Now what is the meaning of this? That is, when you are measuring theta from positive direction in the anti-clockwise direction, it is taken as positive. Whereas if the angle was in the fourth quadrant, we will have to measure it from the positive x direction. But in order to reach that, we will have to go about in the clockwise direction. So we will be taking that angle as minus theta. Okay, and negative in the clockwise direction. Okay, theta always lies between 0, sorry, so it is positive when theta lies between 0 and 180 degrees, and negative when theta is in third and fourth quadrants. Okay, that is first and second quadrant, it is positive. That is from, so it is so basically the theta lies from minus 180 degrees to plus 180 degrees, means you measure it from here to here and from here to here, right? So now let's take it. So in the first and second quadrants, we'll be writing it between 0 and 180, and in the third and fourth quadrant it will be between 0 and minus 180 degrees. So that we'll see when we actually write the question. So it lies between 0 and minus 180 degrees. Okay, so along the negative x-axis the angle is minus 180 degrees. Now let's take up this this we have. Now how do we find the value of theta in terms of x and y, and r also in r we have seen in terms of x and y, and theta also we need to write in terms of x and y. So first of all we have got r is equal to square root of x squared plus y squared. This we have seen, and theta is defined as, we know that from here, if you drop a perpendicular, that is ON. Now this is x upon y is y upon r is sin theta, and x upon r is cos theta. So we know that y upon r is sin theta and x upon r is cos theta. So we can write as x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta. This is the representation of x and y in terms of r and theta. Now we have already seen writing r in terms of x and y. We need to write theta in terms of x and y. So what we do is, if you divide y by x, what do we get? Y upon x is equal to r sin theta upon r cos theta. This gets cancelled, which is tan theta. And so theta is defined in terms of tan of that angle, and it is y upon x. So basically it is the imaginary part upon the real part. Now here we have to where theta, that we have seen that we will measure theta, or we will report theta as positive in the first and second quadrant and negative when it is in the third and fourth quadrants. Okay, so where theta is positive in first and second quadrant and negative in third and fourth quadrants. Now let's see with actual examples how to express this in the polar coordinates. Now once we have the value, see what type of questions we'll get is, we will be given z in terms of Cartesian coordinates, that is x plus iy, where x and y are both real numbers. Okay, then we'll be asked to convert it to polar form. So for that we have to represent z in terms of r and theta. Now since therefore polar representation or polar form of z is z equal to, now in place of x I will write r cos theta, plus in place of y I'll write I times r sin theta. We can easily take r common, and so z becomes equal to r times cos theta plus I sin theta. This is the polar representation of the complex number. Okay.